On its own, but we're gonna go into the first match of week 3 of Bigatron versus Aura Fire.
This matchup, 0-3 up against 3-1. Number 2 up against the 8th place team in MPL Indonesia Season 12. It's Supervin on the grok here. Rashi, anything interesting in the emblem department?
Well, he has a focusing mark, so he's going for more of the pick-off style here, even though technically his hero is more designed to be a bit of a teamfight initiator. On top of that, you can see Super Sorizo having the Purify, having the Brave Smite. This, I think, hints at the fact that he's going to try and be a nuisance in the side lanes, and he wants more sustain and more survivability to escape from those big initiations, those big pick-off attempts from Aura Fire. If Bigatron Alpha can split apart Aura Fire, then these backline members that require the Akai and the Paquito to stay safe, they are now much more vulnerable. And if you look at the emblems, a lot of tenacity is coming from Bigatron Alpha, knowing that if they don't get fully bursted down, they can withstand and regen through the majority of the damage coming in from Aura Fire.
And another interesting to point out here is also, it looks like if you want to go for a chase, Quantum Charge is just the way to go. Van, like, it's a bit weird, you know, when we see Quantum Charge on an Akai, usually you go for other stuff, but Super Ken also with that utility jungler, Quantum Charge. A lot of Quantum Charges here.
Everything, just Quantum Charge. I think this is the most flexible emblem that you can take right now, and Bigatron Alpha are definitely utilizing it here. Though I do want to talk about this focusing mark. We've seen it time and time again. Wait, Super Ken though, able to lock Aran down for a bit, this new rookie from the MDL. But yeah, focusing mark on the grok, Arashi.
Focusing on the grok means that if you just go in with the wild charge on one of the members of Aura Fire, you mark him and allow your teammates to do 6% more damage to the guy. So against the jungler especially, maybe they can try and go for a strat to go on to Van.
Wow, wild charge coming down there, but it doesn't matter. Van still able to secure it with a heavy spin, and good zoning from this rookie. All the way from the MDL, Aran was able to push Super Ken back. And now, Bigatron Alpha, they have the red tree advantage. They're looking for an invade. Super Ken already walking them down. And Sorizo tries his best to distract up top. Super Ken with a taunt now for the airstrike coming down. Van gonna be able to knock Super Ken up, but that's the Appraiser's Wrath. Taking Van really low with the Ionic Edges. It's enough, and Super K takes first blood for the Red Terminators.
Looks like the lack of feel here is not only evident for Kabuki, because we haven't seen that, but the lack of frontliners from Aura Fire kind of kills the objective department as well, because the only one that is going to contest, that is going to take all the damage, is Van and Van only. Even Arn is not there because he's getting chunked quite low versus Sorizo.
For Aura Fire right now, they can't really afford to just be forced into those objectives. I mean, I know they want to contest the purple buff and ensure that Van has it, but against the composition of Bigatron Alpha right here, all the fighters, all the sustain and the cold altar, you can't go in all in against this team. But look at that, that's gonna be Mirko against everyone, but keep in mind, Mirko has something extra going on.
At this point, it's over, man. The Mirbless era lasted like, what, 2 weeks? It was Snapdragon, and then 1 week of MPL ID, and then everything turned back again. So right now, we gotta do that. We gotta turn it around again. I don't even know how I'm in top 3,
God.
but Arashi is number 1.
What's the secret here, Arashi? 21, 6 more than everyone else here.
Might just be instinct, man. I have no idea. But look at that, Van goes in.
Oh, wow. Supervin is able to escape there with the power of nature somehow. Super Key with a good cold altar gets them out. Now Saken is looking for the Weeze. Oh, yep, nothing you can do out of there. Van used up the heavy spin, and it becomes just a free kill over to the Terminators. Good use of the wild charge.
Like we're saying, if you're forced to use the heavy spin aggressively, now you have no defense mechanisms for yourself. If they keep shutting down Van like this means that the next few objectives is going to be a lot easier to contest for Bigatron Alpha. So Aura Fire, they need to be a bit more careful in who they sacrifice in the situations.
Well, there's already a little bit of a skirmish there for the XP laner. Super Sorizo on his comfort pick, this Uranus that we've seen before. It takes it away from Van. I don't know if Aran actually took it away, but still, it's value. You take it away off of the jungler from the enemy team, and look, he's still there! Uranus, what a nuisance!
There's no way there's enough damage in the hands of Aura Fire to try and deny that, but look at that, Super Key forced to flicker away, but immediately, Super Ken already trying to find ways to push Van even further behind. He will be able to get this orange buff though, so when it comes to control, both teams still have it, but the longer this game goes, I feel like Bigatron Alpha, they will have more opportunities to try and make something happen, especially once these turrets especially the tier 1 turrets, once they start falling down, there's going to be more ground to contest for both these teams.
Total take is still equal, but you see the gold lead here is actually taken by Aura Fire, 400 gold lead, even though Bigoton Alpha already has 2 kills on their favor, but Vin getting locked down.
Heavy spin, locking him down. Cole Ulster saving him and giving him so much more resources. Wild charge onto the back right now. Super Saiyan has a crossbow attack, but it's only on to Van. Aura Fire have a beautiful pick here under their wing. High flickering out. Super Ken with the Retribution slows him down. Shadow Stampede brings him back for Super Ken to slice High out of this land of dawn. Meanwhile, Sin and Kabuki, does seem like Super Ken is trying his best to delay these recalls, but the Terminators are just looking for the objectives now.
Looking at the macro play right here, the wave cut by Super Sorizo will allow Bigatron to most likely have a turret lead here soon after, unless Sin and Kabuki try and do something risky. Look at that snipe though. Whew.
Which snipe? The Render's Apathy?
Yep.
Yeah, the Feather Airstrike didn't connect though. Unfortunately for Sin, I don't know, Sin hasn't really been able to fully utilize the Sparsa. He's been roaming, all right? He got 1 kill on the board, but it isn't the level of impact you would expect. He's been miscalculating a lot of the range here. What do you think?
I actually didn't see a lot of impact too as well, but I think that's more of a, because the composition that Aura Fire has doesn't really enable the backliner from Aura Fire himself. Because on Alpha, so far, the punish is really good. Every time Finn gets locked down, Super Ken is always there to back him up. And when he goes straight to the backline, or even just high, it's gonna spell trouble.
They're gonna go in onto Van, force it heavy spin. What? Super Ken, how? He still got it. No retry was used. What was that? Just a burn?
That's insane. What? Out of nowhere there, Aura Fire tries to force Bigatron Alpha into the fight, but now they're the ones getting engaged on.
2-man taunt into the Stampede, bringing High back as Super Ken knocks Sin down. Up. Wow. Even with the taunt here, Appraiser's Wrath coming down. Not going to be able to take him out, though. Sin is able to flicker around, but Bigatron Alpha, they've turned the gold lead around.
Oh!
Super Vin with a wild charge right onto 2. Kabuki's still able to get out of harm's way, but Super Key is looking for Sin despite him flying out of the map. And Bigatron now have complete control, even of Aura Fire's jungle.
And the trend continues for Aura Fire, falling off in the late game, even though doing quite well on the objective department, even though only getting 1 turtle. They're playing against Bigatron Alpha that has a lot of punish for that objective battle. I would say 1 turtle is already fine, but in this case, if he keeps this up, this is going to be really hard to come back to.
I mean, you're saying it's late game, but it's only 8 minutes. Is Bigatron Alpha just being a lot more aggressive and making use of their full team composition? As we mentioned, with Aura Fire, yes, you have solutions in your composition only if Bigatron Alpha comes from the front. When they are trying to contest a turret in the bottom side, Aura Fire, they are forced to stay and have no control in the jungle, and that allows for that flank. And now it's going for a dive as well.
Yeah, Iran here running away. Good escape with the sprint. Super Saiyan held down on the Inspire though, so he still has it, looking for the next fight. Bigatron Alpha have this lead, and they've taken the tier 2 down below. A lot of map pressure to play with. Good Astral Echo revealing the members of Bigatron Alpha. They're giving space to Kabuki, but not enough space as Super Ken just walks down this wave up top.
Well, it seems like that's going to be the game plan for Aura Fire, considering how much high ground potential that they have. Feather Airstrike, you have Novaria with the spot up with the Astral Echo and Astral Sphere. They also have a lot of wave clear for that Beatrix as well. Even if the only one left is Inhibitor Turret for Aura Fire, I think I could put some faith into them that they can kind of come back from this predicament.
Well, on the base, they'll have a proper front to back every single time, but look at the situation right here. Arman getting jumped on.
Delayed wild charge. Aran now trying to get out. Use it to knockout strike. Meanwhile, on the back, Fan doing some damage. Super Saiyan still holding on to the crossbow attack. The better airstrike takes Super Vin low, but Super Sorizo now pops in the consecration. Whoa! What a snipe from high from downtown using the Astral Sphere. And now Bigatron Alpha, they're down 1 member. Aran can just get back to full HP.
Credit all that to Aran after distracting a lot of resources. BTR might be in trouble here. There's a lot of dashes to go out there, and this is the beauty of Paquito. The uses is just a lot of variety that can be used. You have the knockup, you have the damage, you have the shield. It's just anything can be used if you're using Paquito.
And right now, with Super Sorizo in the front, look at him. he is still full HP because the regen. There's no one on the side of Aura Fire that can do enough damage. Only Kabuki, I think, and he pulls Van back in. And he will be jumped on for now, but no. Vacation Alpha, they maintain full control over the Lord.
Astral Echo onto 4. Super Key still able to get out with the Stampede now. Super Chorizo taken very low. Nibiru's Passion as well. Heavy Spin going to be used up, but Superfin locks him down for a bit. A Alter comes down, and Super Ken, who wins the Retri battle, even getting a kill. Now the Shadow Stampede bringing Aran back just for a bit, but Super Ken stays in the front of it all, not letting anyone from Aura Fire touch his back line.
Wow, man. This Uranus pick, I think, from Vacation Alpha is just so value. Because in that fight, there was so much damage traded back and forth, but with having a Uranus means that you can just stay there infinitely. And look at that, Super Chorizo looking to once again just push members from Aura Fire away behind.
Whoa, Appraiser's Wrath coming down. Super Ken was able to just delay that. Sin, utilizing the Feather Airstrike, knowing full well there was a Fredrin. Again, the rookie, he's getting read out like a book by the robots.
He's getting read out, but he's doing quite well for his position. Especially, you have to create on your own in this case because the backline is not going to be enabled when you have Chorizo on your face 24/7. Back and forth trade damage is not going to be able to do anything for Aura Fire because this is Uranus we're talking about. He's just going to heal up to max HP in no time, and they're just going to control all the turret available for Bigatron Alpha.
The 7 powered waves from the Lord take moving in right now, so they can still try and pressure all the turrets. And now with only one more turret left in the mid area, I think Vacation Alpha, they can just slowly and surely go for it or set up a bit more of a dive. You see Super Vin and Super Ken just waiting for an opportunity. But I think it's going to be slowly but surely Vacation Alpha just weathering the turret down.
Let's see. Van doing a good job. Just holding that wave down, not letting it crash into the turret with a good Feather Airstrike. Let's take a look at the in-game equipment here. 12-minute check.
Well, for Van, going up against so many fighters right here, he just immediately goes for the Anticuras, ensuring that those ability-based damage dealers just get their damage lowered quite a bit. On top of that, having the Athena shield, he is just geared for anti-burst, right? He doesn't want to get picked off, so he goes for all these tools right here, but in the long fight, it means that he can't really stay in the front line. Someone else needs to do that.
Wild charge on the Kabuki, but he still gets out. The Stampede, though, brings him back. Now Super Chorizo jumps on and picks up the kill. Meanwhile, Aran all the way in front. Super Saiyan gets baited in, pops into Win of Nature, but he falls to the turret. My goodness. Aura Fire able to create some chaos to get Sakin off the board, and Aran now just clears out the wave on this Bakito, jumps back in onto 4 members, though. This is a risky move. Stampede bringing him back. Aran on the back, my goodness. Forcing Super Key out, and just like that, they've gotten some more space to play with.
Oh man, like this guy's super rookie indeed, because Aran so far has been one of the key members for Aura Fire in this team fights, zoning everything down and also giving some space to Aura Fire's backliner to do damage. And this might be the game plan that they're looking for. Just for Van, just try to peel for the backline, let Aran cook on his own.
Well, Aran right there also save his spells for when he gets pulled back by the Stampede and then unloads all his damage onto Key. So that was a very wise decision. But right now, it seems like there's a bit of an issue for Bigatron. You can see that without Super Saiyan, they don't have enough damage at this point in the game to take down all the beefier members like Aran, like Van in the front line. So that could be a weakness, that could be a target for Aura Fire to try and at least zone Super Saiyan away and then win the fights that way, unless Bigatron Alpha are the ones forcing it on them right now.
Let's see, they're going to go in once again, trying to force that heavy spin from Van. Vin, though, is holding on to that wild charge, doesn't want to use it a bit too early into the team fight. Good snipes on Super Saiyan, look at the back as well. Aran doing a good job at flanking for the airstrike coming down, and this might just be it. Oh, good heavy spin, and Kabuki's the one who finds it. Now Bigatron Alpha on the back foot, another beautiful Astral Sphere onto Super Key, forcing him back, and guess what? Aura Fire are back, equalizing the gold lead completely.
A lot of hesitation coming in from Bigatron Alpha. They don't know what they're trying to focus on because Aran is in the backline. The threat is there for Super Saiyan as well. Even in the front, you have High, you have Sin with the Feather Airstrike. It's going to be really hard for Super Saiyan to make anything happen at all. He has to rely on Super Fin, which already uses his concealed play and doesn't really have anything to work with. Super Saiyan so far only 1-1-1, not much impact so far in this game.
Super Saiyan pressured to be more of a damage dealer right now. He's forced to move forward and take a lot of poke damage and BTR Alpha cannot do that. They need Super Chorizo to stay in the front and be that main tank soaking up all the poke damage. With the Lord, Aura Fire has one more extra front line. They can look to try and just flank around, get the poke damage onto Ki and Super Saiyan before the fight even begins.
Oh, this is where it gets scary for the Terminators. Chorizo pops in that Consecration. Top side as a wild charge, baiting out the heavy spin, but Van is able to bring Super Vin back just a bit. Astral Echo revealing them! Oh my goodness! The shutdown Kabuki flickers forward, forcing Super Vin out and forcing a Cole Alter. One member down, no Super Can to play with. Oh my god, that damage and a snipe from Kabuki! Now they're looking for the siege. Super Chorizo trying to hold them down, but Aura Fire might be able to take this game with another siege into the mid lane. So much range to deal with, and BTR Alpha, they are crumbling.
Godly kites from Van, godly kites from Kabuki as well. And they're trying to siege down there. Further SF forcing a flicker away from Super Ki. Super sorry, slow!
Still able to escape for a bit. A good wild charge delaying the inevitable. But 3 waves coming down. Super Ki's the only one who can defend. It's still 0 seconds now. Super Ken finally respawning back in. Retribution on the wave. Super Ken holding the game in his hands. Now up against Van, who's just staying in the front line, giving space to the back line. Another runner apathy on the Super Ki. Saken finally respawning back. And BTR Alpha, they can let go of that
God.
gas. My goodness, the relief for BTR Alpha.
Off the back of a single Lord, 6,000 gold earned, 6,000 EXP earned as well. BTR Alpha lost every single turret in one fell swoop. Aura Fire, this is the siege comp that they have crafted, and without any chaos, at the back line, towards Kabuki, towards Sin, they can just win it out like this again and again. BTR Alpha right now, they are the ones who have a question posed towards them. What can they do when Super Saiyan is just under too much danger? Let's look at the instant replay by the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip in that defense. Super Vin going in for the wild charge. And fortunately for BTR, the AoE damage coming in from Super Ki is enough to just clear out the waves. But they lost a lot of members and they're forced to just sacrifice their death timers again and again to ensure that the game doesn't end right then and there. And Aura Fire, before BTR Alpha can even recover from the situation, they are going for a free, uncontested Lord yet again.
Seems like the solution is, as you said, Arashi. There has to be some creativity in Vince's engage. Has to be concealed from the back, a flank from the back, because they're trying to go a proper frontal back. That's what's gonna happen to Super Ken. As Immortality is gonna be pop off, that is a huge resource, especially if you're facing a lot of punishes in Van.
Oh, BTR Alpha had the 3 tanks to sustain, but it's only useful in the mid-game. When they get to the later stage, this is what happens. They're gonna collide, they're gonna collapse, but they're gonna poke the Supers down, slowly but surely. Vin holding on to that Lord, not letting it crash into the turret right now. The airstrike gets popped in with a heavy spin as well. Saken brought back to the team with a Cole Alter used up now to save him. Super Saken still kiting away, using his fire. A wild charge on a Kabuki gets him down. And Aura Fire are forced back, but BTR are still looking for the chase now with a Stampede and Flicker from Super Ki. He wants to get that kill on Van. He's still able to dash away for a bit though. Now the Red Trees coming in, Sin's taken low, Flicker's out. Super Ki still looking for that one last shot that will take the Panda down, and there it is, the mega kill for Ki.
Looks like the glaring weakness for Aura Fire's composition is very evident in that team fight, because they have no proper engage tools outside of Fan. If he uses the heavy spin to engage, he doesn't have anything to work with to get away from that crossbow tank, or even try to get away from any kind of death whatsoever. And that leaves the backline wide open for Vin and Chorizo to get deep into the back line.
Aura Fire right now, they cannot just go for the usual strategy of engaging with the Lord and going for a team fight. They have poke damage, they have burst. We've seen that even Super Can, even a Fredrin falls victim to this long-range burst damage. I think Aura Fire could very easily do the same thing and use the Lord as a bit more of a secondary front line. But when they go in for a fight like that, that just puts more advantage in the park for BTR Alpha. And with that huge fight right here, BTR Alpha now have more control around the map, but they still have no turrets. So it's still going to be a very tough situation. It all comes down to, again, the bush control, the pick-up strategy. And when it comes to that situation, I think Aura Fire doesn't really win out in the composition department.
Map pressure-wise, though, BTR Alpha are losing on all fronts. They still have Uranus to clear out that bottom lane, But that's about it, right? If it's not the Uranus clearing it out, then they're going to have to send core members from their team fight comp to clear out these waves.
Look at the items right here for Kabuki. He has the Malefic Roar, but at this point, even though he's a Beatrix, even though he's doing a lot of damage, with the blade armor being built for both the Grok and the Uranus, they're just really tanky around, and with Aura Fire doesn't really protect Kabuki in this fight. Might be a bit too difficult. Saken though. Vin is around, so he will be relatively safe. But back to my point, Aura Fire, they have to try and protect Kabuki, because in that fight, Super Sorizo was just all up in his face, doing damage, outlasting his damage as well. So I think it's a bit of a balance for Aura Fire. They need to be aggressive, but also defensive at the same time. For Big John Alpha, it's a lot more straightforward. Just going for a huge fight, and now seeing that Aran is in front of their base actually, they're going for the Lord. And I don't know if they want to go for the 50-50 though.
Let's see if they do. Sorizo's gone to a point where, whoa, he flickered. He flickered for nothing. A big mistake already, a blunder, and I don't think did Aura Fire notice it. Meanwhile, though, you got to take a look at Aran. This guy from the MDL rookie, already playing in the MPL with no jitters, no sign of nervousness. He's able to bait in the marksman all the way into the base. Look at the space that he's gotten up, and Sorizo loses his immortality into the Menace Rage. There's still a Cold Altar to save his life, though, able to escape for a bit. The Astral Sphere connects. Meanwhile, Aran, he's still able to escape for a bit longer. He finally gets his immortality pop, but no! They leave it away! And now, Big John have lost everything! Aran! Holy moly, what a play from the new Dragon!
Who let this guy cook? Oh my goodness, and he's still alive with immortality intact. This is the almost full tank build for Pakiro is 4. No damage whatsoever. You get the tankiness, you have the disengage, you also have the dashes to get away. And they're trying to siege the base here.
No way. They might actually look for the end right now. It's an Evolved Lord in the 22nd minute, and Aran again is just menacing in the back. Super Key just playing in the back. Vin still acting as the front line, eating up the whole Bennett's Rage. Now though, the Lord has been cleared out, and Big John Alpha can breathe out a breath of relief once again. Immortality bought from Super Ken. It's off cooldown. Another wave coming down, but it's gonna come in one by one. First in the mid lane, Van locked up. Maybe forced to use this heavy spin, but he holds off from it. He's going to be taken quite low to half HP. A good render apathy now as an Astral Echo gets thrown out to the midst as well. No Astral Field to connect right now, but the Airstrike is able to connect on the Super Ken, who still is able to keep his immortality intact. Meanwhile, Sorizo holding them back once again. Wow. Bigatron with another good defense.
Oh my goodness, I think we're on a deadlock here for Aura Fire as well, because again, no proper engage tool, and you're forced to poke. And when you have a solid frontliner in BTR that can heal up in no time, like what's that gonna do? You have to rely on the micro plays from your backlines and hope they'll get somehow they'll get Saken or Super Key out of the picture.
The closer you are to your base, the more you can sustain. So for the Brigadier Alpha, that is exactly what they're using to delay this game right now. Unless all the poke damage, the pickoffs, just land on Super Saken or Super Key, that's a lot of wave clear. I think at this point, Super Key becomes the more valuable player because he is the one with the AoE damage that can clear all these waves pushing at the same time towards the base of Bigachan Alpha. Even if Super Saken was alive, it's going to take a bit longer for him to do so. And look at that. They understand the importance. They try and go for the snipes onto Super Key. Bigachan Alpha needs to respect this and position accordingly. Make sure that the front line is always in the right situation to cover the backline more vulnerable members from all that danger. And for now, the macro situation, I think, just favors Aura Fire due to that Pakiro, man. Aran is just doing so well. And Super Sorizo on the notorious Uranus pick. There's just too much damage on Aura Fire. He might get picked up again!
Oh. What? Now you see him, now you don't! Aura Fire with a magic trick now as the Astral Echo reveals 3 members from Bigatron Alpha. Can they end now? There's no proper frontliner.
Well, there's still 2 in Vin and Ken, and I think that's enough. And Super Saken, I think if we were to go for like Hot's Claws, I kind of like the itemization if you actually go for it, because when you have a lot of poke damage and you have an item that can heal you up in no time, and I think that's gonna be really good for you. And Aura Fire, I think they have to be really patient in the next team fights and just try to not go for like all ins. Just try to poke. If it goes in, if it hits an opponent, that's good. Always do that again and again until someone is dead.
Aran.
Doesn't really matter if they failed over and over again.
Look at this man. Aran is buying so much space for Aura,
Saint
and it becomes
DeLucas is
another
flabbergasted.
Evolved Lord for free. Saint DeLucas is impressed. He coached Diablo, now he's coaching Aran. A new star in the making as he makes a statement in his debut up against Bigatron Alpha.
But now the same question is being posed for Aura Fire. How are they going to crack open this defense? This called Alter. They got to do something surprising, or they got to land that perfect combo, a Render's Apathy, a Astral Sphere, as well as a Feathered Airstrike. They have all the tools available. They just have to wait for the right moment where Super Key needs to move forward for the called Alter to clear the waves, and they have to time everything at the same time. With the Lord coming in, if they manage the wave properly as well, this could be the end for Bigatron Alpha, but at this level, at the MPL, you just don't know. Bigatron Alpha, they could very easily make something happen right here.
Look at that angle on the Astral Echo. Glad you pointed it out, Shepin. Now Spheres coming down. Aran still holding off from going in here. As Bigatron Alpha still have the grasp onto the Lord. No opening yet, but look at the Venezuela. Slowly but surely, they crack the Robots defense down with the Call Alter already taken out. Now Kabuki flickers forward, going with the base, and Aura Fire has done it. It's taken game number 1 against the Red Robots, the Red Terminators, against all odds.
Oh,